Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And if you're immediately alarmed about my surroundings, no, don't panic. I haven't moved house or suddenly decided to make the lighting really awful. No, I'm currently staying with a friend down near Tank Fest, and I didn't quite have enough time to be able to record all of the videos that I wanted, so I thought, hey, why not? You know, the show must go on. I got my travel PC down here, and I'm going to be streaming from it on Monday and Tuesday, even though I'm meant to be away on holiday in theory. As I said, the show must go on. But one of the beautiful things about being back on the travel PC that I usually take to Belarus with me when I get to go stay with my mother-in-law is that I had a whole host of World of Tanks replays that I had pretty much forgotten about. And today, we're going to be checking out one of those. This is a game in the one and only. It's the Caliban. This is the tier 8 British premium heavy tank, and I think it's probably one of, if not the most fun premium tanks inside the game. This thing is quintessentially eccentric when it comes to a British vehicle. It's basically like a KV-2 that has an auto reloader. Its rounds get significantly worse with regards to DPM the more that you fire them, and so you usually want to try and just snap out one shot and then reload for 15 seconds, and then what, more like 20 seconds, and then be able to deliver it again. If you go deep into the magazine, the reload goes from 25 base down to 40 seconds for the second shell, which is awful damage per minute. Now I'm going to be mostly using armor piercing rounds in this replay, but also take a look to see if we switch out to some HE ones later on. One of the biggest mistakes that I made in the Caliban when I was first playing this vehicle is I was trying to force using the high explosive rounds. I thought, oh wow, I really want to drive around and do 850 damage. And even though you've got decent amounts of HE pen at 180, quite often these rounds just didn't really do the work that I wanted them to. And I found that the consistency that you can have with the armor piercing rounds on this tank, if you set it up with vents, vertical stabilizers, and a turbo as well to be able to get into position, although some people would like to use an accuracy device on this tank instead, then it really did massively increase the way that I was playing this tank. And here's the thing, while these rounds, they're relatively expensive, they're going to cost you 5,000 a shot, I don't think people really care about spending 5,000 credits a shot when you're doing 600 damage very consistently to any vehicle, even tier 10 tanks through the front, as these armor piercing rounds, they do have 292 millimeters of penetration. So we're just going to wait, fully aim. I'll hopefully tank the shot from the KV-4, which we do. Get a big old round to the back of the KV-4, and it looks like they have managed to have the engine knocked out. And in this situation, because I wanted to start to reload the HE rounds, and because I wanted to start to make my way back towards base, I thought that I might as well fire the second one. But what we're also going to see here is it's not just the first shell that I need to reload if I want to get my damage per minute back to, shall we say, a usable level. After that 40-second reload, I'm going to have to reload for an extra 25 seconds, or just constantly be reloading for 40 and then firing. And you aren't really going to get through many situations if you play like that. Alright, so a Centurion coming around a corner, but also an ELC even 90. I ram them down to 600 hit points, and I connect an HE shell onto the ELC. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pretend. I'm going to pretend that I'm loaded. And you see how I actually get the T-25 pilot to back away from me? For long enough, hopefully, to be able to reload, but also I was rather concerned that I was just dooming this Skoda T56 in front of me, but not so concerned that I'm not going to try and run away to be able to reload. And what we're going to see here is that the Skoda T56 on 35 hit points actually turns around and deals with the T25 pilot that was going to try and finish them off. And so now I'm hopefully in a position where I'm actually going to be able to help this Skoda T56, and with a neck game where we're only behind by a single kill against our opponents, but I'm up by 4 on myself. Yeah, we're going to have a good impact. Unfortunately, now it looks like we're down by double the hit points, but Metal Prime in the Skoda T56 actually finishes off the T44 there. And so still, once again, neck and neck on tanks, but not so much on hit points. And I'm pretty sure that I have most of the hit points that my entire team has left. So I'm coming around this corner thinking about going for this AMBT, but unfortunately for us, we don't quite get the clean shot. I must also make a passing mention to how awkward it feels to not have Wargaming's new outlining features. If I had Wargaming's new outline features, as this replay is a few months old, then I might have even taken a shot through the box there against the side of the AMBT. Alright, so in this scenario, the last thing that we want to do is to allow the enemies to regroup. If we allow that T-54 Mod 1 to approach from the northwest, or if we allow the Borask to get going, we are not going to be alive for long. Luckily, the ISU-152K on our team finishes off the Kampfpanzer 07 RH before they are shut down by the AMBT. So here we go. 1024 hit point Borask. Well, it would be an absolute shame if I was able to put one shell into you and then follow it up with a second shell, and just like that, the entirety, pretty much, of the French medium tank removed from this game. Now we're up to 5 kills, 4,700 damage, but this game is still close. Still feels like we're outnumbered, at least with regards to the amount of hit points that we have, by double. So now that we've managed to put in multiple HE shells, we're going to go back to firing armor-piercing rounds. And this AMBT is going to fire 1 into us, going to fire 2, and even high rolls. That's a max roll there pretty much for 450. But I'm going to pretend like I'm reloaded. I'm going to pretend like I'm a threat. And this is what I love to do in my Caliban. You've just got to try and scare your opponents. And he's an auto-reloader too, so he's probably thinking, well, I'll get my shells back in so I can handle the Skoda. But actually just fluffs a shot there, tracking us. And I'm not going to use my repair kit because I don't really feel like the pressure's on me. My Skoda T-56 is going to put one in, but I still don't want to fire this shell. I'm really hoping the Skoda T-56 isn't going to get caught right now. I'm keeping an eye on the AMBT, and I want to be loaded for the T-54 Mod 1 afterwards. The AMBT realizes that I'm probably trying to reload my second shell and then comes around the corner. So this T-54 Mod 1 probably thinks now, I've got 1,100 hit points to spend against the Caliban. Oh, well, I should be okay, right? Well, because we held the shell, because we micromanaged our reloads, we might actually be giving this T-54 Mod 1 quite a surprise here. As we have both shells loaded, we come round, we don't low roll, so that means that we can finish it off with a second shot. And just like that, the Caliban manages to vanquish half of the enemy team, and also our friend in the Skoda T-56. Can't believe he managed to get through. That one is still alive. This was a good example of just using the right shell for the right job and micro-managing the Caliban's reload to ensure that your damage per minute never gets down to a point where you're unable to handle the situation. There's no doubt, however, that I got lucky, and it is also undoubtable that this tank, when you manage to go on a run like that, I don't think there's any more fun tier 8 premium tank in the game. But yeah, trust me, when maybe your luck isn't running so good, I'd probably be taking that back immediately. So an ace tanker here for the Caliban for 1,843 base experience. Simply staggering stuff considering that this was a 7-minute game. We fired 11, hit 11, and penned 11, giving us 6,400 damage dealt. And even after resupplying all of those premium rounds and the 20,000 credits for a premium consumable, this was a 93,000 credit profit, showing you that it's far better to fire the gold rounds in this vehicle. As long as you're penetrating them, you are still making a decent amount of credits indeed. And I also like to give a big shout out to Metal Prame for being the anchor that held this end game together. Without the Skoda T-56 and Metal Prame, we would have never have stood a chance to be able to shut down tank after tank after tank at the end of the battle. So the Caliban, in theory, a premium tank done right. It's outrageously different to all of the other vehicles, yet its win ratio, at least in the last 30 days on the European server, seems to be fairly balanced compared to at least a lot of the other premium tanks in the game. And if you're the kind of player who believes that good things come to those who wait, yeah, at least with regards to the Caliban's reloading, then maybe this will be the one for you. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments what you think about the Caliban. Do you think that it's a horrible, disgusting tank that shouldn't be in the game, that's clearly broken? Or do you think that it's a bit of fun that does have some significant vulnerabilities with its downtime? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.